So, Mindthet tweeted, a good way to know if someone on Twitter is a fucking moron is if they have truth seeker in their bio. To which I'm like, aw hell. But I would like to talk about the idea of truth. In addition to people putting truth in their bio, there are also those who have skeptic or logic or reason in their name. Like, if you think that about yourself, then cool, but how truthful are the things that we say? So Jordan Peterson's whole pay attention and speak the truth thing seems like it could be used ideologically pretty easily. It's like, I did a lot of research on this topic, and all my facts are true, so this is the truth. Well, that's kinda a half-ass way of looking at it. Though there is some validity to this interpretation, because the only truth as far as human consciousness is concerned is their own personal truth and the reality that they live in. And yes, that is postmodernish. Even if you believe in a single objective truth, that's difficult to argue for given our extremely limited knowledge, intelligence, time, and simply the limited capacity of our senses. Tastes like disappointment. Now, you have to understand I'm not saying that there is no objective truth. I'm just saying that you can prove that a given fact is true. Things can be verifiable, however, the whole truth of a complex issue may never be fully realized due to the limits that I just stated. I would argue that people who are ideologically pushing their version of truth cannot truly say that they're in possession of truth. The reason is that ideology works as blinders, so often people dismiss things that don't conveniently fit in their narrative. This could be lying by omission or simply ignoring anything brought up by the other side. A nice example of ideological blinders is when Stefan Molyneux tweeted, "Diversity is not strength," and highlighted a sentence from a study that said, a wide array of other measures of social capital and civic engagement are also negatively correlated with ethnic diversity. But if you click the link, it brings you to the abstract. The second sentence reads, in the long run, immigration and diversity are likely to have important cultural, economic, fiscal, and developmental benefits. Like, do you even bother reading the whole thing?
But my narrative.
So it seems that people like to think about truth along the same lines as displayed in the allegory of the cave. This is more a red pill conceptual approach to truth, which is how the right-wing ideologues view it. I like to look at it more this way. Obviously, this is heavily simplified and will never be handed anything this cut and dry, but the metaphor still stands. There are a few variations of this image, but here we have an object. Now, seen from one perspective, the object appears to be a circle. From another perspective, however, one can see a square. Well, they both can't be true, right? So both sides will, say, find a source that confirms their perspective. They will claim that it's a fact that there is a round circular shadow. Therefore, the truth is that the object is a circle or sphere. Obviously, this perspective started off on the right path, but ultimately came to the wrong conclusion due to incomplete knowledge. This error could be avoided by using honest and precise language. For example, they could have said, when a light is shown onto this particular object from this specific angle, a circular shadow is produced. In our current political environment, you can't even acknowledge the other side, much less an error in your own side unless you want to be immediately shunned by your peers. This is partisan tribalism in a nutshell. So if the actual truth is the object is a cylinder, how do you come to that conclusion while supporting your side's narrative and also not productively engaging with the other side? The answer is that you fucking don't. You get half the story. You can say that you're speaking the truth, but you're not. You've missed the first part of Peterson's truth equation, which is to pay attention. You aren't paying attention to everything in front of you. This ties nicely into my free speech video where I basically say that we have to converse in order to move forward. Our two perspectives are true and useful facts. However, combining them, we gain a whole new understanding and perspective. In our complex world, this combination of perspectives would give us a deeper understanding of the truth behind an idea or event. So I want to briefly touch on the first debate between Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson. Essentially, for one of Harris's podcasts, Peterson came on and they were trying to lay the groundwork for what is truth. And they disagreed pretty heavily for pretty much an hour straight, and it was kind of a waste of time. But anyway, Harris believes that what can be factually verified through testing, essentially the scientific method, is what we can hold as truth. Peterson agrees that though these things are indeed true, they are not the ultimate truth if their discovery leads to death. He points to two examples to try and move away from Harris's definition. The first example is stating that fiction is not true. It's not something that has happened, but there are deep human truths that can be extracted from them. I think Peterson does this to try and say that there are more truths than just mathematical and scientific truths. The second example that he repeated was that though it's true that matter is made of atoms, perhaps it isn't, something along the lines of the ultimate truth, since that discovery led to the creation of the hydrogen bomb, which could wipe humans from the face of the earth. I side with Harris in this argument. I think that Peterson has some interesting points, but it seems like there needs to be another word or words to describe what he's trying to get at. It's something more attached to humanity itself as opposed to the universe at large. I want to tread lightly for now, but a friend of mine mentioned to me that perhaps Harris embodies the idea of logos while Peterson embodies ethos. That's a topic I can get deeper into another time. Anyway, let's get back on track and talk about the real intellectuals who will cure this planet of its cancers. Of course, Stefan Molyneux and Paul Joseph Watson have all these videos titled The Truth About whatever. It just makes me gag from reading the fucking title. Like, literally half of Paul's vids have that title. Boy, that's quite a monopoly on truth you got there. It's just as cringy and narcissistic and condescending as watching some dude destroys SJW cuck feminist ass. I really can't help myself, but Stefan Molyneux's The Truth About series talks about some movies that are popular in the box office. They are the epitome of reaching. They are probably the second best example of applied postmodernist theory, just behind real peer review. Stefan's movie reviews give me cancer. Like, I have cervical cancer somewhere. It's a waste of time, really. They're just like, I have ultimately all the knowledges. No, you don't. And spending time claiming that what you say is the end-all be-all truth takes away from time that you could be becoming more informed and forming a more educated position that more closely resembles the objective truth. Oh, but God forbid you might have to break some of your ideological tenets or doctrines to expand your understanding. The other side is so dumb. Fuck off. It's just so many not facts. It's great. It's my favorite.